Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Cloudy, and today I will be taking you through a game called Dagon. Dagon is a walking simulator based on a horror story written by H.P. Lovecraft of the same title, so you can expect a lot of squids and other weird things. The game is on PC, released on Steam. However, something PC players might not like at first is there is no mouse and keyboard support, which is kind of odd for a PC game. You must have a controller to play, some sort of controller. So I'll be using an Xbox One controller to be playing through this. It's supposed to, I think the devs said it's about a 30-minute playthrough. So let's get started. Dagon is a faithful interactive adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's work, focused on story and atmosphere. You will not find difficult choices, action sequences, or inventory management here, and movement is limited to progressing through locations along with the plot.
I am writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
During the game, you'll encounter interactive elements. Some of them will allow you to continue your journey, others reveal interesting facts about the original short story, its historical background, and the author. Some of the trivia is hidden. In order to find these secrets, focus your eyes and look for the Elder sign. You can also access all the found facts later. They will be available in the main menu. So because this game is about a 30-minute playthrough, I might, the video is probably going to be around that long. I'll try to cut it the best that I can, but most likely I'll just include everything that's going on in the game. It'll just be a full playthrough. Oh, he's a drug user.
Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate.
Ah, he's a morphine addict.
When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
What is? Inkpot?
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
It's beautiful. Look at that water. He said there is hidden stuff with trivia.
The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation. So that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
So I don't seem to be able to walk. So maybe it's not a walking simulator per se, but an interactive story? Oh, there's the Elder sign. The HUNS. Central Asian nomads. I'm not gonna read all of this right now. I'm gonna go. You guys can pause here and read that if you'd like. I'll probably read it later.
So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone, in a small boat, with water and provisions for a good length of time.
How much morphine, though? That's gotta be hard, being a drug addict and being captive. You're gonna need some morphine. I mean, your withdrawals are gonna kick in. Let's see, where do I look to progress this time? Ah.
When I finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings.
Utter nothingness, just adrift at sea. Ooh. The Quicksilver looks pretty. I like that.
Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator.
You gotta find the North Star.
Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
Oof. Just gotta look at the moon. Oh, I should have looked for collectibles.
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
Let's see. Water flask. Ooh, those wave sounds are nice. Calming.
Neither ship nor land appeared.
But he's probably freaking out.
Despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue.
Scorching. He's probably just like dying of thirst. Oh, I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm sorry. He's shipwrecked.
The change
Or
happened
not ship.
whilst I slept. Its details I shall never know. For my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
That's boss music, baby. Whew. What the what? So many squids. Yep, that's Lovecraft for you.
When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see, and in which my boat lay grounded some distance away.
Okay, maybe, I guess I was right. He is shipwrecked now.
Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished. For there was in the air and in the rotting soil a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core.
Ew.
The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish and of other less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain.
Where do you see fish? What is that thing? It's like... Oh, God.
Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity. There was nothing within hearing and nothing in sight save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear. The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
Oh, God. What's this thing? The Origins of Dagon. There you go. You can get a nice look at it. Go ahead and pause it there.
As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position. Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths.
This place is gnarly. I couldn't imagine waking up here.
So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might.
I gotta say, the narrator, great voice. They did good on picking the narrator. And it's crisp and clean. And just, the graphics are amazing as well.
Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
Oh yeah, where's the seagulls?
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens. As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time.
Dry sufficiently.
That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
Where did you sleep? That's the question of the day. Oh, we gotta find something to progress. A bag.
On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease.
Where are you gonna go? What is this? What's that? Is that the boat?
The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
I'm just gonna walk across the filthy expanse.
All
To
day I
utter
forged
blackness.
steadily westward, guided by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
Ah, jeez. These things are creepy. What the fuck is that thing? Sorry. It just there's all these weird creatures and then there's just a whale. I don't know what species. Possibly blue?
That night, I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
Ew, it looks like a earthworm. I don't like the way worms look. What's interesting though is you got to use your mouse and keyboard to get out of here. Oh, never mind. You can use the B button. Scratch that, everybody. Scratch that.
By the fourth evening, I attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance.
Oh. Yeah. It's not a mound, it's a mountain. A mountain, if you will.
An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface. Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill.
I don't know how you're sleeping, dude. I guess it's just because of exhaustion, right?
I know not why my dreams were so wild that night, but ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain, I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more.
Yeah, I would. I'd be sweating too.
Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again.
Such visions.
And in the glow of the moon, I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day.
What? You want to travel by night? I feel like that would be less safe.
Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy.
Oh, that makes sense.
Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset. Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
Picking up my pack. Any trivia?
I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me. But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon.
Uh-oh.
whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine. I felt myself on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night.
Oh, jeez. Are you gonna jump?
Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost.
Don't jump!
And of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
Trivia?
Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent, whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual. Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath.
You went into the pit.
Gazing into the Stygian deeps, where no light had yet penetrated. All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me. An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
Beautiful.
That it was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself.
It's a, what do you call it? A monolith?
But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature. A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express. For despite its enormous magnitude, and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young,
Oh, man.
I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith,
Got it. Told you monolith called it.
whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures.
Yes, it was built by giant squids.
Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
Trivia? I'm a trivia hunter, folks.
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm.
Oh, that's different. I didn't see those at first.
And revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions, and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope.
Yeah, we didn't see the water before either.
Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith,
Cyclopean monolith.
on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures.
I imagine getting closer, things are gonna get nuts.
The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me, and unlike anything I'd ever seen in books. Consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like.
I like the one of the shark. Looks like Bruce.
Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world,
Like Cthulhu.
but whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain.
We love squids.
It was the pictorial
Praise the elder
carving,
gods.
however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
This one?
Plainly visible across the intervening water on account of their enormous size were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a doré. I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men, though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto,
They're mermen.
or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well. Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail, for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint. Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer.
These are creepy. That one on the right, I don't like that. That one on the bottom, he could be a Star Wars character.
They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips, glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall. Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background. For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself.
He's as big as a whale?
I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size, but in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe. Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born.
Interesting.
Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me. Then, suddenly, I saw it,
Saw what?
with only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface. The thing slid into view above the dark waters.
Oh shit.
Loathsome, it darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith,
Oh my god, it's Swamp Thing. That actually made me jump a little bit, I'm not gonna lie.
about which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds.
Oh shit.
I think I went mad then. Of my frantic ascent of the slope and cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
Yeah, dude, he just dip potato chipped out of there. That's what I would have done too, dude. Not today.
I believe I sang a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
Run, run. Past the giant finger. Or leg. I don't know.
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat.
He just goes back to his stranded boat. Like, half of this is unusable.
At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods. When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital, brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean.
I've been saved.
In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention. Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing. nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
Yeah, dude, you were probably just dehydrated. Hallucinating. Aha, I knew there'd be trivia.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
Dagon, fish god.
But soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
More trivia, friends? Trivia?
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing.
After a couple doses of morphine, too.
I tried morphine, but the drug has given only transient surcease and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave. So now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
Aw, man. He's really driven him mad. That's sad. Mental health is no joke.
Often, I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm. A mere freak of fever as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man-of-war. This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed.
Oh god, there's a phobia for that. I can't think of the name right now. Fear of the deep sea. I have that. This is actually, like, this shot right here is scaring the shit out of me. Him just being stranded in that tiny little boat.
Their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable
Oh my
likenesses
God.
on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite. I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind. Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
Oh no, Waterworld. We need Kevin Costner. Oh shit. It's a Statue of Liberty. Oh, it's gonna get attacked by Atlanteans. Sorry, I've been watching DC movies.
The end is near.
Aquaman. Is that my heart? Is that someone else's heart?
I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
How is that little end table blocking the door?
It shall not find me.
Hell no. Stab it. Uh-oh. I didn't think that was gonna stop it.
God, that hand.
It's Swamp Thing.
The window. The window.
What window? Oh yeah. The only one in this house. Ooh. That sound. That was like bone crunch. Thank you for playing the demo. We hope you enjoyed immersing yourself in our little pool of cosmic horror. We would appreciate if you took a moment to rate Dagon and check out our other games and DLCs. Dagon, the Eldritch Box, and the Little Glass Bottle. I'll have to check those out. That was interesting. The graphics were good. True to the story of Dagon. The narration was great. I loved the narrator, actually. Let's see how much of the trivia I unlocked. How did I miss so much? I'll have to go back. Well, anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another video. I hope you guys enjoyed Dagon. Thank you so much, Bit Golem, for the key. I'm happy to review this game. Was happy to play it. I will put a link to the Steam page in the description, as always. If you guys could like, subscribe, and share the video. I always feel funny saying that, but you gotta do it. You know what I mean? Anyway, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will catch you in the next one.